Plaintiff Courtney Millis is suing her ex-boyfriend Joshua Jeanine for unpaid rent, loans, and harassment. Courtney says once she and the defendant moved in together, Joshua started abusing drugs and growing marijuana in their home, and eventually he threatened her with a knife. But Joshua says the plaintiff would get drunk and punch and scratch him. He's countersuing for his property he claims the plaintiff refuses to return.
All rise. The Honorable Judge Jeanine Pirro presiding. You may be seated.
All right, Courtney Millis is suing Joshua Jeanine, her ex-boyfriend, for unpaid rent, unpaid loans, and harassment. And Joshua is countersuing Courtney for unreturned property. All right, Courtney, let's start with you. How are you today?
Hi, I'm all right. How are you?
I'm good.
All right.
How old are you?
20.
Okay. Go ahead.
All right. I met the defendant in high school, and we started talking in high school, and even to this day, he will not leave me alone. Like, last night in my hotel room, he called me because he was high on PCP and wanted to see me.
How do you know he was high on PCP?
Because he told me.
Talk to me,
true.
Joshua. Did you call her last night?
I did call her, but I wasn't high on PCP.
She's suing you. Why are you calling her?
Because I figured we were both in Chicago. We spent last year in Chicago together, so I thought maybe I'd call her and see what was up. Maybe say hi.
Talk to me about the PCP.
I wasn't on it.
She just pulled that out of the sky.
I was with a friend who was, but...
Okay. All right, Courtney, why are you suing him?
I'm suing him because, okay, we lived in Chicago together after high school. We came here to work with a nonprofit and
What
work with little
nonprofit?
kids. It's called City Year. It's a AmeriCorps program. I tutored kids in literacy tutoring on the west side, and Josh planned a weekend program for high school kids.
So the two of you moved together
Yeah.
to Chicago. Okay.
We moved back to North Carolina because I think we both missed our families. And then in August, we got another apartment together, and we were splitting the bills and stuff, and he was working at the time. And then he just kind of, like, everything changed. Like, he stopped working, and he just started partying all the time and doing all sorts of drugs in my house and in my car. And he was driving my car because I was paying the insurance for it. Like, we had agreed to split the insurance.
Whose car?
My car. The insurance was in his name, and I was paying for it. And
Why is the insurance for your car in his name?
Because I got a speeding ticket, and it was less expensive if we put him as a primary driver. And he was primarily driving the car. So we put the insurance basically in his name, and we were going to split the bill for it.
Do you have anything in writing to reflect this?
I have the insurance, like the insurance where it says like his name on it, and I have my.
Let's see it. All right, Joshua, you're chomping at the bit. What do you want to tell me?
I just wanted to... When I drove her car, it was to drive her to school and to work and to pick her up from school and from work.
Why can't she drive her own car?
Because she had her license revoked.
I had
you had it revoked?
Yeah, for the speeding ticket. That was when I was in Chicago.
Revoked or suspended?
Suspended. I got it got it redone when I got back. But
so who pays for the insurance?
I paid for it. We were supposed to be splitting it, but I paid for it.
What's your version of that?
That's basically true.
When he moved out, well, he eventually had to move out because the police told him he had to leave because he threatened me several times.
Talk to me. What happened? Tell me about that incident.
Okay, we had broken up basically because as he was driving my car, and he was like, I just didn't want to be involved with all these like people coming and drugs and things like that.
You doing drugs in the house, Josh?
No.
He was growing a marijuana plant in my house, and I threw it out.
Look at me. Look at me.
Sorry.
Were you growing a marijuana plant in the house? You know what? Your eyes shifted already.
No. I was. But she threw it out. She threw it out in the air.
You know, I don't know why you're suing each other. He's agreeing to everything you're saying.
Okay, I thought we were at a mutual agreement that it would be best if we didn't see each other anymore. And I was giving him time to find somewhere else to go. And like he was still, because we have a 2-bedroom apartment, so he was staying in the other bedroom. Actually, was staying on the couch, but he had the other bedroom.
Is the lease in your name?
Yes. And the lease is in my name because my dad co-signed for it, and he didn't want to put Josh on there because he thought that something like this would happen. He wanted me to be able to
Lucky for you,
make him
Josh,
leave.
you're not on the lease. Go ahead.
We had a party, and I was talking to another guy, and Josh freaked out and pulled in, like the next morning, pulled a knife and was acting like he was going to hurt me and was pinning me down and pulling my hair. And that's when I left.
Pinning you down where?
Like on my bed, on my floor, in my house,
saying what
against
to you?
walls. That he was going to hurt me. Basically, that he was.
And what did you do?
I got away and went to work, and then he.
Did you call the police?
The second time it happened, I called the police. I should have called the police first time, and I realized
Did you call your father the first time?
No, I didn't want to tell my father.
Did you call anyone? Did you tell anyone?
Yeah, I told people. I called my friends and stuff, and they were like, well, you can't stay there. So then he was gone when I got home. Like, he was gone for a while after that. And then I came home one Sunday morning at like 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning. He was sitting on my porch, and he tried to pull the same thing again. So he took my phone and was reading my text message and didn't like the fact that I was talking to other like guys.
Had you broken up at this point?
Yeah, we had been broken up for 3 or 4 weeks.
Is he still living with you?
Yeah, looking for a place to stay.
Okay, Joshua, talk to me.
Okay. Like while we were in high school, we had a great relationship. Everything was fine. We went to prom together and everything. And then after we graduated, I did a program, a summer college program, and I had an affair, I guess, with another woman. And she, when I got home, she had found out about it, and she changed completely, which is
What a shock.
understandable.
You have an affair with another woman and she changes.
No.
Why are you surprised?
I wasn't surprised by that, but it was understandable. But so we had already signed up to come to the community service program in Chicago. So we came here and we lived together, and we sort of started making it work. But she had became abusive, actually, like after that. She would like punch me especially she drinks a lot, and so when she would get drunk.
I do not drink a lot, no.
How often do you drink?
Like maybe once a month.
That's not true at all.
I really don't drink that often.
How often did she drink?
We drank almost every weekend.
No.
Let's keep going.
But so yeah, and she had become abusive. I went to work, like she would get really drunk and she would punch me in the face. I still have a scar on my finger right there.
From what?
She like grabbed and she like dug into my hand with her nails. And
Did you?
At some point last year.
No.
Did you scratch him?
Did
you claw at him?
I'm sure I've scratched him before.
Oh, I bet you have. All
But I
right, let
did
me see
not.
that. Human body is exhibit number 1. Slap your hand down there.
Right there.
Yeah,
It's
that's
from her
the
nail.
scar there.
Yeah. Also, like I went to work on numerous occasions where she had like scratched my face like really like visibly, and I would tell my coworkers that I had like walked into a door or like other sort of things. I felt like it was humiliating, and it was I don't know, it was terrible, and I didn't want to hit her back because I didn't want to hit her, and I also I didn't want to call the police or anything, but I didn't really know what to do, so she just sort of like kept on doing that from when we moved to Chicago to like when we broke up, basically. And
the circumstances of your breaking up, Joshua, had to do with what?
We had actually, like, because of the abuse, I had sort of started to not want to go out with her towards the end of the time we were in Chicago. And so I told her when we got back to North Carolina that I didn't want to live with her anymore. And she broke down crying, and she said that if I didn't live with her, then she wouldn't be able to go to school. She'd have to live with her parents, and all this stuff. And I felt like terrible, and I didn't want her to lose her like ability to go to school because I cared about her.
That's not really
And so I agreed to move in with her.
But what is the final incident that causes you to leave?
We had a party which she spoke about.
With the other guy?
Yeah, and the night of the party, she was like, what do you want to do? Like, do you want to be in a relationship with me or not? Like, give me a final answer. And I was like, yes, I do. And I was like, I care about you. I want to be with you. And she was like, okay. And we hugged and kissed, and it was good. And I was like happy. And then 2 hours later, like, she's really drunk, and that she's sitting on this other guy's lap, and she's flirting with him. And like, I see them like outside making out. And so I didn't do anything that night, and then the next morning I got really angry, and I started threatening her. I didn't brandish a knife at her at all, but I was really angry. I was yelling a lot at her.
All right, so you did get angry the next day, and you threatened her?
I threatened her.
by that.
How is it? What is the
And it's
final
not-
straw that causes
The final
one of you to
straw
leave?
is the second time. Okay, the second time this whole thing happens, where he locks me in the house, takes my phone, starts yelling at me, acting like he tells me I have nowhere to go, I have no one to call, and nobody's gonna help me. Locks me in the door, blocks the door to my apartment. I took his phone and called the police, and the police told him he could not come back.
Do you have a police report?
No.
Okay. So what are you suing for?
I'm suing for rent that he agreed to pay but didn't pay, and his stuff was in my house until the end of October. Me and a friend ended up taking all of his stuff to his parents' house where he was
did?
staying on the 28th of October.
What are you suing her for?
I left a futon, a couch, a kitchen table, a full set of silverware, some of my clothes, DVDs, CDs, video games.
Did she take some of your stuff back to your parents' house?
She did. She took the clothes and stuff that were already in the boxes.
Do you have his futon and his couch?
Okay, I bought the futon and the couch. I have emails of where I told him to come get the couch because when he moved out,
So here's the question. Do you have his couch?
No.
She put it outside on a rainy day.
I asked. It wasn't raining when I put it outside, and
You didn't think it might rain
No,
or
wait,
snow one
but
day?
I have emails where I'm like, I don't want to
Did she
keep
email
anything
you and
of
say,
yours.
do you want your stuff?
And I have an
Yes,
email
no,
from him.
look at me.
About the couch she did, but not about any of the other stuff.
Do you have the CDs?
No,
You don't have the DVDs?
I do not have anything.
Do you have the
of his.
kitchen table?
I have the kitchen table, but he told me I could keep the kitchen table. But if he wants it, I told him he could come get it too.
How much is the couch worth?
Probably about $200.
$200 for the couch.
There's no way.
She put it outside?
Yeah.
Okay, and where's the kitchen table? Courtney.
Oh, the kitchen table's in my kitchen.
The issue for the court is very simple. The issue is whether or not the defendant is liable to the plaintiff for unpaid rent for the month that he was thrown out because he allegedly threatened her with a knife. Not to mention the fact he's not on the lease. If he's not on the lease, he was thrown out of the apartment, you don't get money for rent. And don't say it's because you had his property and therefore the storage of his property is worth the rent. It's just not. Now, the defendant wants his property back, so he is suing for conversion. Conversion is the taking of someone else's property for your own use. For example, the kitchen table that's now in the kitchen. I'm very concerned, Courtney, to be honest with you, and I think the two of you are very bright, good kids. I mean, you moved to Chicago to help people in a non-for-profit organization. But at the end of the day, I don't like the fact that he has a scar on his hand. I don't like the fact that you were hitting him. And I believe him. He has no reason to lie, and it's very difficult for a man to come out and say, I have been hit or punched or injured by a woman. As far as this court is concerned, I am not going to award you anything in your claim against the defendant. And as it relates to the defendant, he is entitled to $300 from you because I don't think whatever property you have is going to get back to him in the same condition. Verdict is for the defendant. So ordered.
Thank you.